Moshpit Passion, you know, for the passion of the music.
Herzlich willkommen hier bei Moshpit Passion auf YouTube. Ich bin der Kajo. Neben mir Night Flight Orchestra. Die haben letztes Jahr im September deren aktuelle Platte rausgebracht. Aromantic Teil 2, Aromantic Teil 1 erschien 2020. Und bevor wir so ein bisschen über die Band sprechen, besser gesagt über das Album, machen wir ein bisschen eine kleine mehr oder weniger Ratestunde, je nachdem, wie man es beschreiben soll, weil nämlich es gibt natürlich sehr, sehr viele Informationen über die Band auf Wikipedia als ein Beispiel. Ich werde dich jetzt mit ein paar Fakten konfrontieren und halt fragen, ob das stimmt oder nicht, und wird das Ganze natürlich nochmal mit Fragen unterfüttern. So now I switch to the English language. So again, thank you very much to have you here on our Moshpit Passion YouTube channel. And I want to start the first question. Night Flight Orchestra is a Swedish rock band von Helsingborg. Is it right?
Well, I mean, no, not really. I mean, so basically my other band started, you know, Soilwork started in Helsingborg back in the day, but there's not that many people from Helsingborg in the band anymore. And with this band, I think I would say, I don't know, it's hard to say exactly where we're from, because there's people both in Gothenburg and Stockholm and then Lidköping. So
there's not one main city, there are different cities.
Yeah, I don't know if we can...
Sweden is there.
Yeah, Sweden.
Or at least, where do you rehearsal? Is this the spot to be in the city?
Well, that's in the very south part of Sweden, so that's kind of close to Helsingborg. But, yeah.
All right. So the next question is about when the band started. There's an info on Wikipedia which is stating that you were on tour with Soilwork in 2007. And during a bus chat you talked about classic rock, and then that was the base to gain the idea to create a band which based on 80s rock music. That's right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's when David, guitarist, started touring with Soilwork, and that was, I think, 2007 in North America. And I didn't know him since before, and we started, you know, instantly started bonding over music in general, you know, and ended up sitting in the back lounge of the tour bus every day and got drunk and listened to all those songs, like doing like song battles and stuff like that.
Every day.
Every day. And then, you know, we just love doing that, and especially when you're in motion, you know, and then, you know, sort of driving around in America, you know, in a tour bus and looking out the window. There's something special about that, especially if you have the perfect soundtrack. And I think when that tour was over, we promised that we would, you know, start a band that sort of captures the feeling of being in motion, like the perfect travel soundtrack, you know, like road trip music.
It's very interesting, because when it comes to this new record, for me it's like, I don't want to say like a movie soundtrack, but it's take you to a trip, to an adventure, more or less. And for me also, if I combine this record with your previous records, I have to say that both Aromantic records is, for me, if you look closer to the concept of Night Flight Orchestra, it's for me the high peak. Would you also agree to this?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's definitely two good records that actually should be a double album, I think.
Yeah, who knows? They might be released in the future as a double album. But I mean, it would fit. You know, they're definitely linked together. In many ways. But I mean, it's also a little bit of different vibes as well, I would say. And me personally, I'm especially happy with this one. I think it's even better than one. So it's and it's even more, like you mentioned. I think it's very has like a soundtrack feel, like very cinematic vibe to it. So yeah, I would agree.
Is it right that in 2017 that was the first international concert of Night Flight Orchestra here at the Rock Up Festival?
Yes, that is correct. Right?
Yeah,
that was
I remember that.
Yeah?
Yes.
It was a
crazy.
crazy show.
I know, we're back now. That's pretty nuts, yeah.
And it's also right that you, or wrong maybe, that you released your debut record in 2012, but you couldn't do a show or tour because of your other projects, and the first concert was 1 year later, August 1st in 2013.
When was the first show? Was that in Lidköping?
Yeah, it was, because we were there.
We were there. That's where we used to rehearse, or we still do it sometimes.
Actually,
yeah.
2013?
Yeah, I guess it was.
Let's say it's correct.
Yeah. I would say it's correct, yeah.
Do you ever thought also, when you started Night Flight Orchestra, that it's not like, oh, it's a side project of Soilwork or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, that it's an own band with an own concept, idea. You're doing shows, concert, festival seasons, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely its own unit. You know, it's a band. You know, and it's you know, it's kind of hard to avoid. I mean, we already mentioned Soilwork, you know, doing this interview, but it's for me, this is something completely different and a separate unit and a real band and something that is very, very important to me and something that I really need to do, you know, in order to do Soilwork and vice versa, basically. You know? So it's I think we have a very special vibe in this band as well, and it's an extremely creative unit, you know, and I think we deliver something really special that is not that we don't hear out there. You know, it's providing something that's missing.
What can the people expect when they will visit a show from of Night Flight Orchestra? Because you released 2 records, more or less, and you couldn't promote it through the last 2 years.
I know, it's been rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you plan maybe to play both records, and then, let me say, the encore's part is packed with highlights of the previous record, something like that?
We could do that, I guess, like in its entirety. Yeah, I mean, I would love doing that, but we'll see.
We're actually having a problem by, I mean, picking songs for the concerts. It's kind of hard now with like 6 albums.
Yeah, it's really tough. But I mean, it would be cool to do a special aromantic show, you know, with doing both albums. But that would be a long show.
Yeah.
Definitely, you should do this because also your popularity and your fan base is getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
And a lot of people looking forward to this. And guys, thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you.
Usually our question is the famous Moshpit Passion questions, where you say a silly story from your Moshpit experience years, let me say this, or from your youth years. I know you answered this question a couple of times. Maybe you have an interesting Moshpit story which you want to share or to tell our audience.
We just do conga trains, thank you.
Just do conga trains.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we do dance pit.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, also Leute, ihr habt's gehört. Aromantic ist seit September draußen. Checkt die Band ab. Ich habe euch alles Wichtigere weiter unten verlinkt. Gehabt euch wohl, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, guys.
Moshpit Passion, you know, for the passion of the music.